without further ado, we'll get started here. I get some save state junk here. I'm just gonna take slot number 4. We're gonna type our name in. So, first level. I'm going to encourage everybody to hold the A button the entire time for this level. This is actually a good spot for you to kind of get a feel for how the controls handle in this game. If you're going to go safe, the easiest way, you don't have to try to cut any corners or anything, and I recommend slowing down to set yourself up so that you can see. So you're going to kind of just come down around the edge, and then you get down to where it's at its narrowest point. You're just going to kind of chill here until the screen is done. And then you are going to use each of the inside corners of the slalom to help guide when you're going to press certain buttons. So I'm just holding A. We're just going to do Cardinal Directions from here. Okay, so we're going to hold straight down an A, and then once we get to each of the inside corners, you're going to alternate left, right, and left. You're not going to use any diagonals at all. So left, right, left. Just like that. So I didn't actually save my state at the beginning of practice like I like to, but that's okay. Just, you know, an easy way to get through. And I have this, I only have a few images here to share, but I have this one image right here as like a guideline for these slaloms. So you see I drew horizontal lines to try to identify the spot when you want to change your direction. You want to hold A the whole time, but again, once you get to those inside peaks, you just want to hit the cardinal directions for left, right, and then left. And again, no diagonals, none of that nonsense. So again, let's try it again. If you get comfy with this and you're not really pushing it too hard, just let the screen catch up, and then left, right, left. And you can get a 54 just like that, without too much of an effort. You know, this is a level that later on in life, should you decide that you want to grind this more, this level will give you fits. Because there's lots of time to be saved here, but you don't have to worry about that. You really don't. So I'll show it to you one more time. Again, just... Also, I'd like to make a point that, I mean, it is a good spot here to kind of get the hang of how handling works, because if I just hold cardinal directions, here I can go up and around slopes and all that sort of thing. Like, I love this level because it's a great introduction to this game. Because it's got all sorts of little slopes and ramps and drop-offs and stuff. And you can just kind of roam around here and really get a feel for how your marble behaves with speed. So let it catch up, and then again, left, right, left. And it's a 53. But 53, 54. Again, if you've got 10 games to learn, you're not going to lose any sleep over that, like, half a second or whatever. So now, the beginner race. For the beginner race, I will bring up my second image for the start here, because essentially what you're trying to do is, I hold down and right and A from the start, but obviously I'm going to turn before that. Your direct path here is right there. So I'm bringing up the image here so that you can see. Essentially, like, right when your marble hits that line, you can either try to line it up with the wall, you can try to line it up with the floor, but once you get to that spot, that's when you want to change your inputs from down and right to right. And you should, if you just hold right, you should bang into the right side wall, either the edge of the screen or the little inset over here. Inset's probably not the right word, but right here. You can bounce off of this wall, and it actually sets you up pretty well. So here, I will show you. So if I just hold right there, I bounce off of it, and then I come careening toward the ramp. So again, you can, so down and right, and then hit right here, bounce off that wall, and then you just need to adjust a little bit and get wanted. And then you're on the ramp. Because another thing you don't want to lose much sleep over here, you really don't want to lose much sleep with Steely up here. You really don't. Also, I despawned him. That was pretty neat. So, bonk, and then there you go. So, that gets you down here. The next thing you need to worry about is the drawbridge. So the drawbridge, I'm not sure if it's 100% consistent, but if you look at the timer up here, the drawbridge comes down for you to pass when the timer hits 57. So you don't have to race down here by any stretch. Like, you want to get past Steely and all that, but most of that time the timer stopped because I got wanded. So, oh, these wonderful wands. Wonderful wands. So we bonk there. We get down the hill. We get ourselves set up over here. Sometimes it's a little bit before 57, and it stays down for like 3.5 seconds on the timer. So you have some time. You have a lot of time to make that first drawbridge cycle. So again, once you get past Steely here, you don't have to hold A the whole time. You don't have to worry about catching up to the bottom of the screen. You can just kind of take it easy, get across here, and then I am going to recommend that you come down the tube here, because again, those of you that are going to be participating in the NEScathlon, you're going to put some time into every game. So you're going to put a little bit of time into this. It looks a little bit overwhelming, the next section, but it's okay. But before we get to that, I want to mention to you that the left side of most of these tubes is fake. It looks like we should go in, but yeah, the left edge is a false front. So, so anyway, from down here, you're gonna come out of the tube with speed. And if you just hold A, then you're just gonna fall and crash. It's more important, I would say, to know how to recover from this section than to know how to do it smoothly. Because you can learn the movements to get through here quickly. But at the end of the day, it's going to be more relevant to you to know what to do when it doesn't work out. Now, Weapon, thank you so much for the raid. So, now that I'm going to get my time back here, we'll do that bounce. And I have the input display up, and you can see my hands, so you can see what movements I'm doing generally here. So yeah. So again, we're going to come out of the tube. I always hold down an A coming out of the tube, because I want to get over that first ridge right there. Like, I want to be aiming down this way. You can take it easy here. You don't even have to hold A necessarily. Once you get a feel for how quickly or not the marble moves, you could get through this section. Again, for consistency's sake, you may want to not press A at all here. So, caught up on a ridge there. So from here, like, it's down and then left and then down. And you can get through that whole section without hardly pressing A at all. But again, let's go. I'll save a state as we're going down the tube this time. I'll do my normal-ish thing here. Okay, so you come down the tube, and that's kind of fast. But again, you don't have to hold A at all here if you just want to kind of take it easy. So it's down and then left and then some sort of combination of down and right, because the hills are pretty steep for this last section. But you don't have to. If you hold down and right on that hill, you should stay up. Don't turn too early. Down, left, and then down, and oh no, I went over the hill. I suppose it'd be down and left if you got over that hill. And then you're through. If you want to go quickly, it's those same movements, but while holding A, and you gotta do them a lot tighter. But we'll get into that. I'll get into that when I go over a more advanced tutorial. But if you want to just kind of navigate through here cleanly, and not worry about dying. It's just down and left, down and then left, and then down and right, like a combination of down and right. If you go over the hill, then just hold right. So you get to here, and now this is the one thing that I feel like I'm going to contribute to. Oh man, I dropped the controller. The one thing that I'm going to contribute to helping people a lot in general. This is easy ice. Okay. I have a method for easy ice. Because the ice down here, this thing, for most casual players, this is the bane of everyone's existence down here. Because holy mackerel, it just, like, you guess wrong, and you just get sent off. Wow, that was a good guess. But that's okay. So, easy ice. I'm gonna stop it right here. So, you're going to accelerate into the tube, and then as soon as you get into the tube, you are going to release the D-pad. Hold A, and release the D-pad. You are going to let the momentum from the marble coming out of the tube roll you into the edge of the screen. And as soon as you hit the edge, oh, thank you, wand. As soon as you hit the edge of the screen, hold down and left. And you should relatively consistently get across the ice. So, into the tube, let go of the D-pad, bounce off of the screen edge, and hold down and left. I might have said down and right. But, again, release, screen bounce, and then hold down and left. And even there, like, I still made it across, which is the point of the exercise. So, screen bounce, down and left. There you go. Release, screen bounce, down and left. So you get some slight variety in results, but the whole point is that you consistently get through. Okay, so we're going to move on to intermediate. Yeah, Virus, it is better than taking it from the left, because you have to spend time lining up the left-hand edge. So some folks are aware of the fact that there's like a sneaky left-hand edge you can ride all the way along it, and you can get through. But this one is only a little bit slow, to be honest, and it takes a lot of the guesswork out. So, okay, so now we're up to intermediate. Again, intermediate, if you are just trying to going for completeness, you're not going for speed. The wands are out, they're everywhere. Again, I recommend letting go of the gas right here. Again, you're not going to try to do the double bounce, so you can just kind of take it easy and navigate through there. I know you like to accelerate on long straightaways, but like I might even suggest that you just kind of take it easy down here until you get down off of this ramp, and then if you want to accelerate, you can. But yeah, like essentially you could speed along through here if you like, but again, if you get caught bouncing off these walls, you'll get stuck in here forever. Lots of folks. Well, it happens to lots of folks. Yelsraek, thank you for the host. You get to like here, and then you want to slow down, so. And then just kind of weave your way through gently through that S-curve, because that S-curve is kind of nasty. So, down over here. I have trouble doing this slow. I apologize. Bonk, bonk. And then you want to get down here. Okay, so now, my third image, and this is the last image that I really have to share, so, is for... There is no foolproof way for the acid pools. However, there is a relatively consistent pattern. If you take these angles, if you follow the edges of the two platforms, and you just get there, like you just kind of watch where this top one is going, you can see, I'm going to turn off the picture now, you can kind of see that this one acid pool up at the top is just kind of weaving in a bit of a circle. So it does give you a chance to sneak through. And then once you're through there, like none of these acid pools are going to chase you down, you just need to wait until the top ones move out of the way. So I'll get back down there and I'll save the state down there. That was better. Bonk. I didn't save the state, so that's okay. You get the gist. But my recommended path for, you know, ease and consistency is you just kind of make sure that you can sneak past that top one. He does kind of just go in roughly a circle, so you should be able to sneak past them. And then, I mean, they all follow pretty strict patterns, so you just kind of roll on through, and now you're in the clear because you're down here. So we'll just get down here again. I'll do the fastest stuff for right now. But not for here. Because again, the whole purpose of this is it should be relatively consistent to just do that without much of a hesitation at all. And it's only a little bit slow. It's not as slow as dying, that's for sure. Okay, so now we get to the tube. Yeah, my recommendation coming out of the tube. See, you see that false edge again? See this false edge over here? This isn't real. Look at that. It's not really the tube. So my recommendation, coming out of the tube, is I usually end up going left, not immediately. If you hold left out of the tube, you crack it. You don't want to crack it. So, for beginner's sake, I would just hold up and left and just go straight up into the wall. And then you don't have to go fast through here at all. I do recommend taking the carpet, because the bottom route is deceptively hard. And the carpet, you just need to take your time. Like, there's nothing, it's, like, you can't just let the carpet take you like that. So you do have to move a little bit on your own. But, again, you don't have to rush, and I would not recommend using the A button at all if you don't feel comfortable down here. Like, I use the A button out of the tube to smack into this wall, and then from here, I would just carefully navigate my way down. I will say that if you try to just go straight down here, that's death. You can't just drop straight down. You don't have to turn much before you can make that. So, like, even if you only make it a little ways, that's a pretty safe, like, this is a pretty safe edge to, like, just kind of spin off of. So you have a lot of leeway there. Just don't hold straight down. You want to navigate around that edge a little bit. Yeah, just go after a wave, and you might even, like, tap right, tap down, and then you're good to go. So again, hard into the wall, and then just take your time. See, even though I take my time, I still didn't get it right. Well, if you die repeatedly here to the point where you can see the flagpole, you can do this. Oh, it didn't work. I'm doing it too early. Ellipsis taught me this trick called the hot drop. And there's like a very small window there where you can fall. Like, basically, if you make the marble fall over the flag, over the actual flag, like not the flagpole, just the flag in general, then you can finish. And it gives you credit. If you're too far to the right, it doesn't count. If you're too far to the left, it doesn't count. If you haven't spawned the flagpole yet, it doesn't count. So, okay. Moving on to race number 4. So I think the most common thing that I see people do here is they'll hold the opposite direction and A, which makes the, oh boy, oh hey, look, I can make a wand appear out of nothing. If I hold no buttons, I get no wand. If I hold up and right and A, do I get a wand again? I do. Isn't that neat how wands work? So you do that, and the marble spins like all the way to the edge before you get control. Technically, the faster way is to hold up and right, but not A, because you end up killing the momentum a little bit sooner, and you can make a really tight turn. You don't really have to worry about that. This is all about your preference here. That is a mild concern. So yeah, you want to come back off of here, and again, you can take it easy here. Not that easy, but you don't necessarily have to rush down the hill. You are probably going to want to accelerate past the vacuums, though, so get yourself lined up and then race past the vacuums. The lineup for... Yeah, we do need to do a wand study, Snake, we really do. The lineup for me for when I hit right here is like right... Like, it's basically, this is effectively my lineup right here for making it down the hill. But with momentum carrying me forward, I'm not gonna, like, roll right into that that little hole there like I just did. But it takes a while to get used to that angle. That is for sure. But I like to be kind of centered, and then as soon as I get to that edge, I just roll right down the hill. Now again, I've got a lot of control here because I've been playing this game so much. One of the things that I recommend you do while practicing and just kind of messing around with the game is to help you get used to the speed of the marble. Also try to get used to killing the momentum, like, and not losing control, but having the control to race down to a spot and just stop. Like, that is a skill that is worth its weight in gold. And potentially gold splits as well. So it's really just a matter of being able to Just being able to just hit the opposite direction a little bit. So again, starting from here, you can hold A if you want, you don't have to. You do want to accelerate past the vacuums, otherwise they'll ruin your day. Oh, I did it again anyway. You get down to here, and now everybody's new favorite part is the pistons. These are not random. This is a pattern. So it's gonna go back, middle, front, front, but cut off less of it, middle, back, middle with all three, and then everything. So it just repeats that. Back, middle, front, front, middle, back, middle, everything. Oh, hey, there's more to this pattern than I remember. Other than I looked away at the wrong time and it didn't do the everything yet. There we go. Okay, we're okay. No, I think it's just those same 8 sequences over and over again. Alright, so that's that one. I'll get down here with a little bit of speed and save a state. So, the next one is just 5 different pegs that show up. It's 1, 2, 4, 3, and in the middle. 1, 2, 4, 3, and in the middle. And it just loops that over and over again. So again, this takes a little bit of getting used to, but if you memorize the patterns, then you should be able to find a decent spot to go through. My recommendation for this one in particular, Nate, thank you for the host, would be to try to go either between 1 and 2 or between 2 and 4. Because you don't want to try to go when the pistons are going the opposite way. So 1, 2, and then just kind of roll on through. Like 2 and 4 is great because it gives you an entire section of room. Okay. So, and it's a 1 and 2 is a little bit tighter. So if you are not accelerating when you try to go through 1 and 2, the 1 to 2 will definitely not let you through. It's difficult to judge with speed though here, so there you go. So like if you just want to kind of take it easy. So this one is also a dedicated pattern. So 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, doubles, doubles, all of them. 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, doubles, doubles, and then all of them. So that's the pattern for that one. Yeah, that is difficult. That's difficult to time. So for me, I end up accelerating between 1 and 2, but you have to be willing to hit the A button there. So you have your choices. Even knowing the pattern doesn't solve everything. This one is like there are portions of this game that there's no like clear-cut solution for, I would say. Cutting between those singles is harder than cutting through the doubles, that is for sure. So if you see it and you're not sure, then I would just wait for the doubles. If you are in the center and you just kind of careen right into the edge of the screen here, and like let go of the D-pad as you're getting there so that you're not forcing it to go any further, you are kind of lined up for the next spot here. Because this next jump is pretty delicate. You do want to make sure that you are lined up pretty centered. But I find that this turn is probably one of the most deceptively hard ones, in my opinion. Because you want to make sure you have the speed, but you also want to make sure you have the angle because the slope is kind of weird. We'll go through this again. And that bump's okay too. Wasn't sure what it would be. Okay. And then we come up here, come down here. Okay, swell. Hammers. This is also a pattern. I know everybody hates this one. So, oh, hello, wand. Wonderful. Okay, so after all the doubles go through, alright, it is 1, 2, 4, 3, 1, 2, 4, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, doubles in the back, and then in the front, back, in the front, split in the back, split in the front, split in the back, split in the front. Repeat. 1, 2, 4, 3. 1, 2, 4, 3. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so you see the pattern. Wonderful. What do I do? Well, my recommendation is if you're not feeling great about it, wait for the doubles that are close together. I think that when it's going 4, 3, 2, 1, it's not that difficult to sneak through. But I think the doubles are probably easier to get through. Yeah, I died trying to get him back. There we go. So again, I think that when it's doing the 4, 3, 2, 1s on loop, that's one of your best times here, but if you see the doubles, then you can just kind of coast on through. Or like you can get up halfway. Even with the split doubles, you can kind of slowly walk your way across. Wonderful. Getting wands in difficult spots is also great. So yeah, so in this case, if I wanted to like, I see the 4, 3, 2, 1s come, and I know the doubles are coming, so, and I know it starts with the back double and then goes to the front double. As soon as I see that last one appear, I can just kind of cruise up slowly, knowing that the hammers are going to show up in the back. Silly race. Everyone's favorite. I mean, everything down the stretch here becomes everyone's favorite. The zigzag. I see a lot of people prefer to take the zigzag back and forth. That's perfectly fine, because since these are downhills, right? You don't actually have to do all that much. If you look at my input display and look at what my hands are doing here, I'm just using Cardinal Directions. And I'm not even holding the Cardinal Directions because it's a downhill. I don't have to do the work. The hill is doing the work. Alright, and that gets us down into here. So you definitely want to let momentum help you, if you can. So you get down into here. Running over each of these little things is worth 3 seconds. Might not be worth it because it might take you longer than 3 seconds to run them over. Their hitboxes skew to the right. So if you feel like you need to be fishing for extra time, try to hit the right side of them. Come here. Come here. Right. And then again, this whole section is kind of wonky, because if you try to cut it too tight, you'll bounce back in, and that's a bit of a nightmare. If you hit too much speed, you'll bounce back in. You know, it's just a big mess. You can, if you so choose, to avoid... Oh, I'll take that one. Sure. If you so choose to avoid all the mess here, you can just kind of ride all the way around the edge. It is a little bit slow, but if you are not comfortable with this teeny tiny little ramp, then you can just take the long way, and that's fine. And I'm just kind of using the same momentum here. I am going to shift to diagonal inputs at a point there, because just holding Cardinal Directions and A does eventually wear on you a little bit. You know, oh wow, I ran those guys over from upstairs. That was kind of neat. Because the hitboxes skew to the right. Like, they came all the way over to the edge, and I was up on the top, and I still ran them over. That was pretty cool. Alright, so, this part. Oh, there was a follow, I believe. Thank you so much for that follow. This part is, in my opinion, this is the hardest part in the entire game. Right here. If you're trying to go fast. There isn't necessarily a safe way to do this. Like, if you just hold A, if you do that whole D-pad release thing, the ice trick that we did in beginner, then you would at least be maybe lined up to do this right. Oh no, that's a betrayal right there. That's a super betrayal. You'd figure you could hold up and hit A. You hold up. Okay, so it does work, but you know, I wonder if we do it without holding A. That does work too. this is another one of those sections where it's more important to know what to do when you fail than it is to know the route quickly. Because some of the respawns on this section are completely terrible. I'm gonna hold up and not hit A. Cool, that works. So we can do this whole section without hitting A so much. We just have to be careful. So like this is one of those sections where you're on a downhill technically, but if you hold up, sometimes you roll right up off, and sometimes that edge kind of catches you. So you want to try to like take it easy here. Not on that first section, but if you ever respawn and die here, just kind of like tap up just to try to get onto flat ground here. Okay. From here, again, using A button strats, but even without using A button strats, you're just going to hit up and then right when you get into that little channel here. If you do it a little too early, then you die in that pit, and then you get this, everybody's favorite respawn, where you're like, well, what do I do? You know, like I can't seem to do anything, right? And it just keeps rolling you off to death. The key here is hold A and hit right a little bit. You may have to hit right and down a little bit. You kind of want to aim. You kind of want to aim for the open area here. But sometimes, like if you don't hold right fast enough and then you try to do it, you just roll off the back. So you just have to be holding right while you're waiting for the respawn. So like right after you die, hold right. You want to be holding right before the marble drops so that you can get the heck out of there. If you hold right too much, then you will go into that corner. So that's where people often get caught. You're like, oh, well, holding right is clearly not the answer because I keep dying. And then you wait to hold right, and then you get stuck. And then you want to throw the cartridge out the window. So again, the whole thing is you want to be holding right during the respawn, but you don't want to do it forever. So you just want to do enough to get up the hill. If anything, you may want to hit right and then immediately shift it down and right. So right and then down and right. Just get up here, get off of that thing. Because now if you die over here, oh no, you get spawned over there again. So you got to make it all the way to the ramp before it'll let you out of this madness. So the inputs, let me see if I'm wondering how good this image is going to show up on here. Because at one point, I made this image for my buddy Sin Streams. This was with speed, and this is more for the advanced tutorial. But I was trying to show him like roughly when I hit the inputs that I hit. But the crux of this, the important part of this, is that when you come out of the tube, you go up, and then right, and then up, and then right, and then up, and then left, and then up that ramp. So the thing is that with speed, it is all Cardinal Directions. Without speed, it is still Cardinal Directions too. Oh yeah, this music speeds up almost forever. And if I was to pause the game, that's the neat thing, and I don't know if it's just a save state thing or if it actually works this way. If I pause the game and just leave it paused, when I come back, the music never stopped. So it's going to go even faster when you come out of it, and it's going to be super hectic. Anyway, so again, this is the part that I recommend spending a lot of time on. If you're going to spend time on any part, this section here, navigating it smoothly. Again, you don't have to use the A button so much. You just have to be patient. And it is just up, right, You just have to hit those buttons at the right times. And I recommend holding A and letting the screen, letting go of the D-pad. Because this screen bounce, hitting the screen bounce at all with momentum, you're dead. And then you get stuck in whatever, death loop you can conceive of. So that's the best advice I can really give to somebody, is just holding A, coming out of here. Up, right. Okay. I always go up and around here rather than down and around, because I find it's a bit of a struggle for me to change my momentum to go this way. Plus I feel like it's way too easy to die off that front edge, and it's a pretty long fall. I mean, it's a pretty long fall down the right side too, but you're already you're already going in the correct direction here. But the screen bounce hole, there is not much room for you before the edge of the screen, but that's okay. So these birds, if you're nervous, you may want to wait for both birds to go. You certainly don't have to go fast through here. You just have to be patient. I always like to fall down. You know, this hill confuses people because it's up. It's an uphill because it's the silly race. So I always try to fall off of the uphill rather than trying to like force myself down here, because sometimes if you don't have the right amount of momentum, you know, then you can get stuck over here and you're like, oh, what's going on? And then you just drop down. Yeah, I'll get the music going a little bit slower. So again, you get over to the birds, just be patient. Like the birds, they all spawn in the same spots, but you know, there are 7 different ones, I believe, and you just have to bide your time. So drop off of there. For safety, again, if you want to like line yourself up with one of these 2 outside boxes and just try to hit the wall, but again, like I've been saying with other spots, you want to like smack into the wall, but without holding the D-pad when you smack into the wall, and it should either bounce you in the correct direction toward that ramp, or at the very least just kill your momentum. Overswarm, I did not go over the silly skip because right now I'm kind of focusing on completing. Like, this is more of the beginning part of this tutorial is more for people that are just looking for advice, general advice for helping them finish runs. But I will go into a little bit more detail in a little bit. So it's all good. We'll get there. So yeah, I recommend lining up on like either this row of boxes or this row of boxes. Let go of the D-pad before you get here. That was too much of a bounce. So essentially, you can use the screen bounce to your advantage there, rather than ricocheting off to your demise. Oh, we missed it by a pixel. That's okay. Like I said, I'll go over actually setting that up. Okay. So I just want to move on now to the ultimate race, because I think I'm going on a little bit longer than I wanted to for the beginner tutorial. But again, such is life. When I don't have time to like walk through talking through this stuff in real beforehand, it's gonna happen. So, the ultimate race. Ultimate race, I often see a lot of people come over here and like try to line themselves up. This is perfectly fine if you don't want to try to navigate that hill on a curve. Go ahead and get yourself over to here. And you can't just go straight up, so you gotta back up a little bit. You want to hold A. A little fun fact, you can't beat this game without pressing A, and it's because of right here. Because if you're not pressing A, you can't make that jump. And it's the only jump in the game you can't make without the A button. Yeah, get here, go uphill, and down you go. And again, a lot of this just comes down to like practicing your movement, just using save states and getting comfortable, because there aren't necessarily a lot of surprises. The further into the game you get, the game just throws more hard stuff at you. So this bumpy section here is very hard to turn, so you just want to kind of come over here. You can use the screen bounce to your advantage and try to ease your way down into the hill. This disco floor with the acid pool is fun because it basically doesn't let you stop moving. And if you have any sort of momentum at all, then like hitting Cardinal Directions doesn't necessarily move you in those Cardinal Directions. It's almost like it's trying to switch 90-degree runners to 45-degree runners. The next part here is the ice. I do recommend going through the ice. Like if you're gonna like slow down and line yourself up, I want to say I recommend, and Steely might prove me wrong here, going down closer to the left edge. So like either like right here on the peak, or slightly to the left of the peak. Because if you come down on the right side, yeah, Steely doesn't care. I guess that must be a product of of when I normally get down there, Steely's just behaving a certain way, and I usually want to get down there on the left side. But again, use that screen bounce to your advantage if you want to. You can go around the acid pool on either side. Also, this hill is very cumbersome, so you definitely want to be on the top side and not the bottom half. Because then it's just a bad time. Like if you go over it with speed, it doesn't really matter. But if you're not using speed, then it can be problematic. Just gonna line ourselves up here. Bump into that wall. Again, don't need to use the A button here. And we can use the A button here. And Steely does have... I'm just gonna let myself die here a little bit here. That's okay. That's a great save state. Come on, Steely. Bring it on. Aha! We despawned him. Okay, cool. I didn't get to crack him, but despawning will have to do. Alright, so when you get down to this section here, I recommend not using the A button at all. That's my recommendation, because it's just a matter of you don't have to go fast, because you can't go too fast. Also, there's no harm waiting a cycle. Like if you don't come around this corner cleanly and you hit that screen bounce and try to go, things could go badly. So, but again, it's just a matter of getting used to the turns here. Now, you may want to use A for certain little snippets of the snake here, just because there's not a lot of time. It doesn't look like there's a lot of time, but I think there's probably more time than you think there is. I would be willing to bet. But again, it just takes practice. You know, there's no... Like, that's the thing. Early in the run, I can give you little tips and tricks to try to help you get through certain sections smoothly and relatively consistently. But later in the game, it just takes reps. That's all it takes. It just takes reps. You go straight down here, you hit the screen edge. Here. And again, you can wait a cycle between each one if you're comfy. You want to move off that edge. Because that one disappears. I've often seen folks, like, once the first platform shows up that's kind of tucked in the corner, I'll just hold up and right and just, like, bounce into the wall to help them line up. And then that last turn is going to be, depending on your angle, is going to be some sort of combination of left and down, or literally just hitting down, because it's that bumpy stuff. If you just hold left, you know, you like, oh, it's just, I can just hold left and just kind of nudge down. It's more like holding down and nudging left. Because that bumpy road just kills your traction. Absolutely kills your traction. So yeah, so that, I mean, in a general sense, that's a pretty simple, I would say, like, taking our time during different sections, but relatively simple run-through of Marble Madness. So if you're just looking to complete the game in somewhere between 3.5 to 4 minutes, just so you can get on to, what's after this on the game order? Blaster Master? So you can move on to Blaster Master? There's no harm there. So that's what I would consider to be the beginner tutorial. I'm going to take a couple seconds here real quick. If you have any questions, feel free to post them in chat. And I'm going to go over a more advanced tutorial in a moment. So yeah, so like I will admit that particularly with the later stages, it's kind of difficult for me to think about this game in terms different from how I run the game traditionally, just because I take a lot for granted, and I hope that I've limited how much stuff it sounds like I'm taking for granted in the tutorial. I'm trying to think about easy workarounds for a lot of things, so hopefully this hits a lot of those notes. And again, if you are watching this as a VOD and you're getting down to the end of it here, then you probably already stopped listening when I muted the mic. But I am available to answer any one-off questions. We have a Marble Madness Discord that you can join and ask questions. I should probably get a link to it up in here at some point. But you can also DM me on here, or on Twitter, or on Discord.